Hello there. Thank you for joining. I'm excited to be here today to share Adobe's journey to the cloud for our corporate data platform. I'm excited to see so many attendees here and see the thriving community that DataOps has developed. Join me today as we take a journey to the cloud for Adobe's corporate data platform. As those business units have grown, as the number of employees across the company has grown, we've seen significant challenges in keeping up with that growth. Today in our platform, we have thousands of users, we have petabytes of data, and literally millions of monthly job executions. The biggest challenge is that we're simply running out of capacity. We don't have any more room in the data center after this year to deploy any additional infrastructure. We've just literally reached our limit. Given all of these challenges, it became abundantly clear that we really need to migrate to the cloud. Given the complexity of our environment, so one of the 3 C's that Kunal mentioned in his keynote, there was really no way to just move everything all at once. It was far too complex. So we had to figure out if there was a way that we could kind of sequence these workloads in a move to the cloud. Which workloads consume the most resources? Was it most advantageous to move those to the cloud first? Or was it better to move the ones that were simpler, had the fewest dependencies upstream and down? When these workloads made it into the cloud, we wanted to know, how much is it going to cost to run this workload in the cloud? What kind of infrastructure do we need in the cloud to run these workloads? Can we deploy a static set of infrastructure? Or is it more cost effective to scale this infrastructure up and down to meet the needs of the workloads that are running? Those are insights that have been challenging to get, but we've been partnering with Unravel to try to help. Adobe's had a relationship with Unravel for a couple of years, and Unravel's been helping us to optimize some of our on-premises workloads. You can see there are a couple of statistics in how Unravel has been helping not only to optimize the workloads, but also to enable our people resources to be able to be more effective in doing root cause analysis when a job is failing or a job is running. It has capabilities that allow you to analyze the workloads that are running on premises and not only have deep insights into what those workloads look like, but also what it might cost to run those workloads in the cloud. We're really getting ready to kind of take that next step in our cloud migration journey that partnered with Unravel. But what you can see here is I've used the Unravel tool to try to understand, what does the workload when migrated to the cloud look like in terms of cost, and also understanding, are there ways that I could reduce the cost of that workload running in the cloud if I might not need to keep the same SLA that I had when that workload was running on premises. You can see that in this example, Unravel says to maintain 100% SLA, it's going to cost you this much to run your workload in the cloud. But if you don't need to maintain that SLA, you could save cost, you could reduce the cost of that workload by reducing your SLA, thereby reducing the infrastructure that's needed. This gives you the insight to start making some of those trade-off decisions. Do I need to maintain this SLA and incur these costs, or am I okay reducing my SLA and trying to achieve some cost savings? Another example of how Unravel is helping give us some of these insights is a look at what this workload might require in the cloud in an auto-scaling environment. Unravel looks at how this workload is running on premises and sees that for 1 hour during the day, every day, this workload requires significant resources. But for the rest of the day, the resource requirements are significantly reduced. This is the kind of workload that would make sense to deploy in the cloud in an auto-scaling model, where the infrastructure could scale up during that hour that the resource utilization was high, but then scale back down for the rest of the day. In this example, you can see that Unravel says by deploying this in an auto-scaling type environment, you could save more than 57% of the costs. These are some of the critical insights that we needed, and we're excited to partner with Unravel to leverage their product to understand our workloads and to start trying to forecast what's it going to cost when we run these in the cloud, and also what's the best infrastructure deployment. First, as I mentioned earlier, we had a really hard time understanding all of the workloads that were running on premises and figuring out how to get those workloads into the cloud. We had a real blind spot, and Unravel has really helped us to uncover some of the insights that we need, understanding the workload resources, interdependencies between workloads to help us to plan our migration of those into the cloud. We've also learned that it's really important to have that migration analysis to be able to look at what this workload might cost when it runs in the cloud, and also to provide some cost and performance benefit analysis to say, maybe you don't need to keep the same SLA for this job. You might be able to reduce it and save some costs. Number three, we've also learned that many of the workloads that were running on premises weren't necessarily optimized. We've asked every team across the company to start optimizing workloads first to make sure that our compute capacity stays available on our on-premises infrastructure, but also all of these workloads should be optimized before moving to the cloud so that we can make sure we're not incurring unnecessary costs when they're running in the cloud. And then finally, even though we don't have workloads in the cloud yet, we've realized that we want the same insights for those workloads when they're running in the cloud as we have today when they're running on premises. Again, this is an area where we can partner with Unravel to deploy some of their APM capabilities in the cloud so that when a workload migrates from on-premise to the cloud, we have the same insights about how is that workload running? Are there optimizations that could be made to make it more efficient and use resources more effectively? So we're excited to continue on this journey. We have a big objective for the year in getting the infrastructure deployed, getting 20% of our workloads migrated, and we're excited to partner with Unravel through this journey to give us some of the insights that we've been missing.